culture can be the most enabling thing that you have in a company or the absolute killer of productivity, and people are just phoning it in.
Hi everyone, this is Damon with HR Mango, back here on Mangoes Not Lemons. And we're gonna talk a little bit about, we've touched on some of these before, but we're gonna talk a little bit about pros and cons to an HR career with a seasoned HR vet. Our guest today is Ben Harper.
That's me.
All right, well, Ben, so tell us a little bit. We talk career fields on our channel a lot.
Yeah.
Different types of jobs, different things people should entertain, different jobs that they might not want because of certain reasons. So in HR, let's take a few minutes. Let's talk pros of an HR career and cons of an HR career. So give me your opinion.
Yeah, I think HR provides a huge variety of options. Because if you're a more analytical person, you can master payroll and state compliance and laws. You can
lots of employment law.
Compensation analyst if you love the numbers. If you're a people person, you can do employee relations or training or organizational development or recruiting. It provides a lot of variety and the ability, once you're in an HR group, you have the ability typically to switch throughout your career.
Okay.
Switch focuses once you've kind of proven your value there. So I love it for the variety that it's provided me in my career because I like that challenge of learning something new.
Yeah, and do employees love you when you find them the right job?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. When you can find that perfect fit for somebody, it's great for them, it's great for the company, and even more, you get the discretionary effort that they're willing to put forth more than somebody who's just checking a box to get a paycheck.
Yeah, that's what I really like. Not only do the employees love you, because especially when you steer them a direction they never thought they should go, and then the managers go, oh my gosh, I love you. You helped me fill the hardest job. I couldn't find the right person. I love this person you found me. So there's lots of personal satisfaction in an HR field. Okay, what are some cons? What's hard in HR?
It's not for everyone. We have to deal with some of the hardest things as well. Terminations, layoffs, deaths, mental health issues, family health issues.
Mental health's a hard one.
Yeah, it is challenging, and not everybody is cut out to deal with those kinds of things or wants to.
Right, investigations into all sorts of conduct.
I love investigations. That was my bread and butter for a good chunk of
my career. You like a little CSI digging in the workplace?
Yeah, I had a boss who was a former Las Vegas detective.
Really?
And she'd been through FBI investigation training. She taught us some great stuff. She was amazing.
Oh, very cool.
And so I learned to love the chase, the investigation process.
Okay, so that's a fun part.
Yep.
So, but the downside is challenges, losses, terminations. There is a hard side to HR.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier, if they go into HR compensation, HR benefits, HR specialties, usually you don't deal with a lot of that. That it's only when you're HR managers, HR directors, HR business partners, when you're the full spectrum HR, you deal with all those.
Yes.
So there, you can have an HR career with avoiding some of those downs.
For sure.
Okay.
So you just have to, that's why I say I like the variety that HR provides, because you can be whatever you'd like to be within that without having to functionally change an entire career.
I totally agree. What about possible downside is when companies get tight, markets get tight, who gets laid off?
HR.
Recruiters
first.
Why is that?
Project managers second.
It is. Recruiters always go first.
Yep.
Then project management. Why are those laid off in a downturn? I don't think people realize HR is a liability.
Yeah, it's a cost center.
Yep.
We're not creating product.
Or profit.
I would argue that if done right, we can add a lot more value to the bottom line by doing things right and reducing costs elsewhere than we would ever cost.
No, that's fair. And reducing risk.
Reducing risk.
No lawsuits.
Yeah. I mean, I've had situations where I've said, had we done X, we would have avoided this lawsuit. And that, whatever, $5 million or whatever.
It was linked to it.
Yeah. If we would have done this right, if HR would have been involved from the beginning, we would not have had this, or been less likely, or been mitigated partially, right?
Yeah.
You never get rid of all risk, but...
You don't. Yeah. So that actually leads me into my next question. Why do executives... So this is for all the executives out there. Executives, listen to this question right here, and hopefully it adds some value for you. Why do executives who start a business, they have this great idea, they have funding, they have money, they want to create this widget and put it to the world. Why do they need HR?
It's a great question. I think it depends on the size of the company as to what the need is.
Okay.
Because when you're a small 200 or less person company, you don't need a me, right? You don't need
Right.
you probably don't even need a full-time HR person. You need a payroll clerk.
Or consulting
Or
HR.
consulting,
You can
yeah.
get like an hourly person to help you with legalities or navigate FMLA or navigate some
For
of the
sure.
things that do apply but aren't a big risk.
And don't happen a lot either
Yes.
in a company that size. Why executives don't see the need sometimes, I think because especially in that entrepreneur mindset, they've built a culture themselves. They feel a sense of pride and ownership for that culture like nobody else on earth. And frequently they've built really great cultures and they don't want somebody to come in and screw it up, right?
Yeah, they don't. They fight against it.
They do. They fight against it because change is hard. Everyone wants to change and get better and grow and improve until we ask you to change, right? Then it's, I mean, mine's good. I want everybody else to change. That's frequently what we see. So I think it's just that dynamic of not knowing what they don't know. Maybe they've never had a really great HR function, or in some companies, HR is wholly administrative. So they see it as an administrative function. They run my benefits, my payroll.
Not consultative.
Not consultative. And when you see the difference of having a truly consultative HR partner that's working with you and solving the problems, night and day difference.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't look at just the simple cost to hire. Like, what is your cost to hire? And a lot of executives go, I don't know. We hire someone. Oh no, there's a cost to hire, and there's a cost to turnover, and all of those are quantifiable in the realm of HR.
For sure.
So it does help executives succeed, helps them keep an eye on things they don't normally look at.
And I think sometimes HR practitioners struggle to show that quantifiable data.
Yeah.
They say, we did all these great things. What's the bottom line impact? Like right now, we're RFPing a bunch of stuff in our benefits world just to see to market price because I wasn't there last year, right? We want to see how we compare. I want to be able to come out of that and say, we've changed these functions, we've enhanced these benefits, and we've also saved this much money.
So we actually have a really good episode on benefits. We had a global benefits person on. Her name is Lisa. You should check it out. She talks about some very cool benefits. So just a thought. So let's then finish off on a final topic of culture.
Yeah.
So we just touched on it. Executives, with sometimes accidentally, they create a culture, right? In their environment, they create a culture of what the office looks like, of what the dress code is, of what the work schedules are. So you come in and you create this culture. Talk about briefly good culture, bad culture.
Every company has a culture by default or by design.
And they don't even realize it sometimes.
Correct.
It's just how they work.
It's just what happened by how leaders are leading. You can have all the values posted on the wall that you want. You can have whatever structure you want. But if your managers are beating people down and micromanaging, you're going to have a different culture than what you say on the wall.
Yes.
So it has to be deliberate. And that's back to your earlier question, why you need an HR person, because I can deliberately help you build that and keep that in the front of your mind. When you're worrying about business objectives, I'm going to constantly come in and say, and we'll get to that business objective by the people, by the culture, by being deliberate here.
With these goals and these values.
Yeah, and help facilitate that kind of a strategy. Culture can be the most enabling thing that you have in a company or the absolute killer of productivity, and people are just phoning it in.
Yeah, no, that's fair. In fact, culture, I think, is a big contributor to what we talked about on an earlier episode, quiet quitting.
Oh, yeah.
That quiet quitting is a problem in a lot of workplaces where the culture has degraded, the culture has, maybe a senior executive changed, and the culture is completely different than the company they used to work for, and they don't fully want to quit, but they don't really want to work anymore, and so they just slowly quiet quit their job.
That is honestly, it's probably my number one concern in my role right now, because we have acquired a bunch of companies and we have their original founders transitioning out over the next year or two.
Oh, yeah.
And they have built great cultures. And I don't want people to quiet. I want them to be bought into the whole company.
The new direction.
The new direction. I want to leverage what was done really well.
Not the group, the company.
Yes.
Okay.
What was done really well by those founders and not lose their individual cultures, but while bringing them into the overall company's vision and culture.
It's a hard one because culture, if done right, everybody has a voice. even if it doesn't go the direction they voiced, they were heard.
Yes.
They felt like they were listened to, and then they embraced the direction. So culture is a tough one. So what are some of the, other than quiet quitting, what are some negative impacts to a bad culture?
Productivity. People stop looking for, we do a lot of production right now, and so scrap goes up, waste goes up, product quality goes down.
Yeah.
It has real dollar financial impacts when somebody just doesn't care and they're putting a widget together and they just toss it into the next bin.
In manufacturing, I could see that.
Yeah, quiet quitting is less of a concern than the quality.
Than the scrap.
The scrap that goes up. And they stop looking for enhancements or ways to make the process or product better.
Now that you say that, years ago, we had a company that we were working with that we provided employees for, and their scrap was going up and up and up and up, and they couldn't figure out why. They had an internal employee that was mad, got wronged by some of the employee. They were scrapping good product.
Oh boy.
Perfectly good product. They were throwing into scrap.
That's the risk.
And they found it,
well.
and the employee said, well, you did this to me, so I was going to do this. And it was bad news.
That's petty.
But yeah, that's bad culture.
Bad culture.
So all right. Well, ultimately, in the world of HR, there's a lot of fun to be had.
Oh, yeah.
I love human resources. I love working with people. There's some challenges, but there is a significant amount of opportunity. So hopefully for all of you that watched a little bit today, hopefully you like Ben, that he gives you some hot points on human resources and what a career would be like going into human resources. And he's a proven example as currently a chief human resource officer. Very successful career in human resources.
Thank you.
So everybody, thank you for watching and enjoy our next videos. See you later.